I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? We're going to get into NXT from March the 10th, 2026. This was a very good episode of NXT, a very strong one. A lot took place on this episode. It was very newsworthy. Tony D'Angelo wants the NXT Championship, which we kind of already knew more than likely that was going to be his main objective after he defeated Darkstate. So we got that gem there. Charlie Dempsey turned heel, and he has now aligned himself officially with the Birthright, which is great. And we got to see Finley and William Regal show up, which was great. So that's good there. So apparently they are going to take this stable very, very seriously, and I do like that. So good stuff there. We're still doing the Sol Ruca Zarya feud as well. And we're also doing the Keanu Carver and Joshua Troy feud as well. So that's great. So a lot of stuff happened on this show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and get started. So we kicked the show off with Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame. So Tatum Paxley, she said that she felt like she was doing this whole thing wrong. She was begging to get noticed and to be accepted, forcing all these friendships just to feel alone. She used to play, she would play with her dolls and look at them and wonder, is all of it really worth it? And all the mental battles she had to go through. She said at Vengeance Day, it all became very clear. She didn't win this title because of the calling. She won she didn't win this title because somebody cared for her, or even because she got lucky. She won the title because of all of us. She used to feel alone, and now she feels whole. She said when she won the NXT Women's Championship, that was for the calling and for Izzy. But she won the North American Championship for us, the fans, which was great. So I did like that. So Izzy Dane comes out, and she's yapping, and she told Tatum that she still hadn't changed. So she wanted production to roll the tape, and it went over the early stages of Tatum's career in NXT 2.0 and her being a tryout and everything and all that. So that was really good there. So Izzy basically feels that Tatum is fake. She said that she's still the same weirdo outcast she's always been since day one, since she's walked into this place. Izzy says that you can stand here and hold this title and soak in all this fake love from all these fake fans, but you and me, we know it is what it is. It's just another mask. So Izzy continues to go on and say, just because you beat me, it doesn't really mean anything. You're a chameleon of NXT. So she continues to talk. She said that she already knows that whether Tatum is champion or not, will forever be the girl desperately trying to fit in. So she wants her title back. So Tatum turns around, she sees the calling, and then she's blindsided by Izzy Dame. She powerbombs Tatum Paxley, and she poses with the NXT Women's Championship. North American Championship, and that was the end of the segment. Good stuff there. I do like that. This is great. We're still continuing this feud, which I knew it wasn't going to be over by a long shot anyway, so I do like this. Good stuff here. It was not a long promo from either Izzy or Paxley, or Tatum. So I really like this, and this has actually been one of the best feuds that NXT's done in quite some time. Actually, like, this is one of the best women's feuds. Like, I'm heavily invested in both characters. I'm a fan of Izzy Dame, big fan of her work. She's improved leaps and bounds. Same thing with Tatum Paxley. I love her character work. She's good in ring, good promo. It's just kudos to both women. They've hit it out of the park, and this is a great ass feud. So I really enjoyed this segment. Moving on from that, this leads us into Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. So Ethan Page is still kind of dejected and kind of down. So Ricky basically wants to know why did Ethan Page spin the title so hard. So Page knew that he would miss the mark the moment the title left his hands. They're both without a championship right now. Ricky says the visual they need for them is to be champions again. That's what makes them so great, because they don't dwell on the past. Ricky says that Vengeance Day sucked. Ethan Page says the last 2 weeks have sucked for him. Ricky forgives Ethan Page, but tonight, when they beat Joe Hendry and Miles Bourne, which is the tag team main event, if Ethan Page pins Miles Bourne, he'll be back in line to recapture the NXT North American Championship. If Ricky pins Joe Hendry, he'll be in the main event of Stand and Deliver, with a sold-out arena chanting his name. Every dynasty has a slump, and the last 2 weeks have been a mere blemish on their resumes. Ethan Page is looking forward to bringing the title back. To being back in title contentions, and Ricky continues to preach to them about becoming two-time tag team champions. Okay, that's fine there. Good stuff. I like this. Moving on. This leads us into the first match of the night. Jasper Troy is defeated by both Eli Knight and Sean Legacy. They do a double pin. So Sean Legacy hits the 450 splash, and then Eli Knight does a kick-ass moonsault, and they both pin. And so that's fine. It makes sense. And then two of them, they shake hands. Eli Knight and Sean Legacy. And it seems like they're going to make them a tag team, which is fine. That's perfect. That's great. I like that. So good stuff there. Booker T was hilarious on commentary. What the hell? What the hell? I love me some Booker T. Moving on. Tatum Paxley, she's looking for Izzy Dame in the back. Then she runs into wacky-ass Shiloh Hill. And Shiloh tells Tatum that he'll help her find the calling before they leave the PC. All right, that's fine there. Moving on. This leads us into the Birthright. They're preparing for their match. Ariana Grace says that she's successfully defended her TNA Knockouts World Championship this past weekend. Well, last week on TNA Impact. Now it's Lexis King and Uriah Connor's turn to get a dub. Lexis is just disappointed that it had to come to this, because Charlie Dempsey is just too damn stubborn for his own good. Lexis King asked Uriah if he made the call. Uriah says no, but his dad did, and they're on their way. And so this leads us into the No Quarter Catch crew, Charlie Dempsey and Tavion Heights versus the Birthright, Lexis King and Uriah Connors. So match was pretty solid, and then out of nowhere towards the end of the match, both William Regal and Finley showed up, which was great. Got a pretty decent reaction. And so Charlie Dempsey, he grabbed the foot of Tavion Heights, did a German suplex on the outside, threw him back into the ring. Lexis King hit the coronation for the 1-2-3, and then Charlie celebrated with the Birthright. And this was awesome. This was great. I love this. Really good shit here. Match didn't last too long. It makes perfect sense. Perfect. So Charlie Dempsey is going to be the lead man of this. and you're going to have William Regal and Finley manage this faction, which is great. This is tremendous. I love this. I fucking love this. This is absolutely amazing. This is great. They didn't get David Finley, which is fine. So he's in AEW. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. I doubt he'll be in AEW long. He probably just signed maybe like a 2-year deal, probably. So that's fine. And all these guys are young guys anyway. I think Charlie's in his 20s. Lexus King is in his 20s or early 30s. Uriah's young as well. He's like 21, 22. So this is fine. This is perfect. So I like this. Really good stuff here. I can't wait to see what they do next. Moving on. This leads us into Shiloh Hill. He removed all the tires on the Collings SUV. And the car alarm was going off and everything else. So that was funny, I guess. Moving on, this leads us into Tony D'Angelo. He gave us the main 2 reasons why he came back to NXT. The mission number 1 was to deal with darkstate. He said Vengeance Day was a culmination of that mission. He said that him and Dion Lennox on Saturday went to war. He says that he does kind of respect Dion Lennox to some extent, but he was just a casualty in his way. So, Tony D had to look the man in the mirror, and he had to consider his future. He said life goes by so fast. He had to reflect. And now he's being honest with himself. He wants the NXT championship. He decided to bury that old version of himself 6 feet under, and become the man he's standing now in this ring. He's paved the way. He proved that he's the toughest son of a bitch in NXT. The second reason he came back to NXT was to win the NXT championship. He put over Joe Hendry. He said a year ago he would have wanted to have a sit down and break some bread. He said that's not him anymore. He said, Joe, if he has to break his face, he's going to do it. And he would love to say, this is just business. This is just personal to me. And he's only going to give Joe Hendry just one warning. Prepare yourself for his actions, because he's not going to be denied. He's going to be the next NXT champion. So I do like this. This was great. Short and sweet promo. I like this. This is fine. So good shit here. Very good stuff. Again, I'm not a fan of this Tony D'Angelo tough guy character, but it's fine. Him being in the main event scene is perfect. And I do think that he will be the one to dethrone Joe Hendry as NXT champion. Again, it could be like a triple threat with Tony D'Angelo, Ricky Saints, and Ethan Page. Maybe they have a number 1 contender triple threat match, and the winner of that faces Joe Hendry at Stand and Deliver. I don't want them to do a fatal 4-way or anything like that or whatever. So hopefully they do like a triple threat. Whatever. Moving on from that, this leads us into Lola Vice. She's given Sol Ruka some props for beating Kalani Jordan in NXT Underground. No, Sol Ruka gives Lola Vice props for beating Kalani Jordan in NXT Underground. I'm sorry. Lola Vice says that it felt good knocking Kalani out. Lola knows that Sol Ruka has a bunch on her plate, having a match with Laney Reed and her best friend stabbing her in the back. But she knows she's looking at the next NXT Women's Champion. So Ruka says she's going to take that title away from JC Jane next week and get revenge on Zarya at the same time. Lola is going to be keeping a close eye on that, because when Sol wins, they're going to fight at NXT Stand and Deliver. Lola wishes Sol Ruka good luck. Okay, that's fine. But why couldn't Lola Vice have some promo time? Like some in-ring promo time, kind of like how Tony D'Angelo did. I didn't like that. I didn't like this, because she could have came out to the fans, to the audience, basically, and talked for about a minute or two, and just, say why she wants to become NXT Women's Champion and all that. I don't know why they didn't do that here, but they did it via a backstage segment, so it is what it is. Moving on, this leads us into some comedy stuff regarding the Ring QCC. So Wren's happy that Miles Born got his big moment last week. He got his big moment a couple weeks back. So Miles wants to know if they've seen Joe Hendry. They gotta get ready for their big tag match. So Wren goes into the refrigerator. She says his name. His theme song just plays, which is hilarious. So there's a cake, and then Joe Hendry, he appears behind Miles Born and Wren Sinclair. Miles tells Joe Hendry they need a game plan for Ricky Stanton and Ethan Page. Hendry apologizes, but he had some business to attend to. And then Miles wishes Wren good luck in her match. And so Kim LeGray is munching down on the cake, which is hilarious. That's hilarious. Good stuff there. Moving on. This leads us into Sol Ruca defeating Lainey Reed. Match was very solid. She wins via the Soul Snatcher. Lainey Reed looks good. She looks really good. She has a really good in-ring about her presence, a real good in-ring presence about her. She's very good. She did a bunch of net breakers in this match, a couple of elbow drops and stuff. Sol Ruca, like I said, wins via the Soul Snatcher. She was going to set up for the pump kick, running the pump kick, that being Lainey Reed, but to no avail. So there's that. And then Sol Ruca had a stare down with JC Jane and Zarya, so that's fine. Moving on. This leads us into Robert Stone. He is backstage with Ilya LaFleur, Eli Knight, and Sean Legacy. Ilya doesn't want to sit through another tournament to find his next challenger, despite the double pinfall. So, both Sean Legacy and Eli Knight feel that they should be rewarded for beating Jasper Troy. Robert Stone is fixated on having tournaments for whatever reason. I have no idea why, which is weird. So the Vanity Project, they show up. Jackson Drake tells Robert Stone to move on from the Speed Championship already. They wanted to discuss the tag team titles. Since they'll have to wrestle for more than 3 minutes on Stand and Deliver, Jackson Drake says that Robert Stone is cooking up something nice for Swipe Right. And Robert Stone tells Ilya LaFleur that he'll take everything he said into consideration. So, Robert Stone likes the idea of Sean Legacy and Eli Knight becoming a tag team. I like that. That's solid stuff there. Moving on, this leads us into Blake Howard. He was doing the interview duties of Sarah Schreiber. So he wanted to know what's next for Mariah May after she beat Jada Parker. So Mariah said that Jada got off the side of her, but she learned the lesson that when you play with fire, you get burnt. Mariah May is looking forward to performing her first Stand and Deliver. She is the standard, the conversation, the controversy. So Tatum Paxley she shows up. She wanted to know where Izzy Dame was. So, you know, that's fine. It is what it is. And so it seems like Mariah May, she was looking at Tatum Paxley's title. That's fine. Okay, moving on. Wren Sinclair defeats Thea Hale. So she wins the Speed Tournament Finals. That's fine. It seems like Thea Hale got into some trouble, I guess. I don't know why she lost here, but it is what it is. I think she got into some trouble, I guess. I don't know. Who really cares? Moving on. So Robert Stone informs the entire tag team division. There's going to be a tag team tournament started in 2 weeks. The winners of that will face the Vanity Project for the tag titles at Stand and Deliver. So basically, there's a massive brawl that breaks out. Whatever. Who really gives a damn? Moving on from that, this leads us into JC Jane and Fatal Influence. They're interviewed by Blake Howard. So JC Jane's annoyed by all this, and same thing with Fallon Henley and everything. They just said that they're going to win their respective matches next week. So that's it. Tatum Paxley has a massive brawl with Izzy Dame, which is great. Good stuff there. And Robert Stone makes a steel cage match for next week. That's going to be fucking awesome. That should be the main event of next week's show, which it probably will. Moving on from that, Booker T is going to have his own appreciation night next week, which is awesome. So there's that. That's cool. Well deserved. Booker T's the fucking man. Main event of the evening, Ethan Page and Ricky Saints, they defeat Joe Hendry and Miles Bourne. So towards the end of the match, Ricky Saints brings in the NXT Championship. The referee takes it away from him. This allows for Ethan Page to hit the Twisted Grin on Joe Hendry on the title. Referee didn't see it. And then the referee counts 3. And that was it. So this is fine. It makes sense. I do like this. It's interesting to see where they're going with all this, if we're being honest. So, good stuff there. Like I said, NXT still continues to be the best wrestling show of the week. I like what they're doing. I'm loving the Tatum, Paxley, Izzy Dame stuff. That was great. I forgot to mention Keanu Carver showed up in the Shawn Legacy, Eli Knight, Jasper Troy match. He choke slammed Jasper Troy through a table, which was fucking awesome. So I like that. So they're setting up that match at some point. We'll probably get that next week anyway. So that's fine. I like that. I like what they're doing with Mariah May. How they're having her, kind of maybe be the next one to go after Tatum Paxley. Because I think Tatum Paxley is going to end up winning their feud, her feud against Izzy Dame, which is fine. That makes the most sense. And then you can do her, Mariah May, at Stand and Deliver. And then you just move up Izzy Dame to go after the NXT Women's Championship. So, that's fine there. I thoroughly enjoyed the Birthright stuff. That was cool to see William Regal and Finley on the show. That was great. So good stuff there. Again, I like what they're doing in NXT, and I am excited for Stand and Deliver. And NXT in Houston next week should be a fucking blast. But what did you guys think of NXT? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.